Yo, I'm gonna try to upload more to this channel, Wobblers. Bumble clap, big up, boom. Today I'd like to talk about how I got better at music. It's something that, as of late, a lot of people have been noticing, and thank you for that. I've put a lot of work in the past year to just like get better at music. And I don't think how I did it will make much sense to the normal musician because it doesn't make any sense to me. Basically, I think I'm a crowdfunded musician. I was a competitive beatboxer before I started doing YouTube full time, and I traveled the world and I won a bunch of competitions and I had fun with it. And I always wanted to, bring my guitar into the mix, and I started off playing like loop station guitar mixes on YouTube after a while, after my Uber beatbox videos. And randomly I met someone in Rust while I was playing Rust that made a video of me, and then I had a bunch of viewers that wanted to see that type of content, so I started doing it all the time, and I started getting better and better and better, and now we're here. I don't think I'm that great at music, but I do think that I have a lot of I think I have a lot of good things going for me, and I've become creative with how I can interpret music, and I'm starting to learn more theory because I am starting to go to piano lessons after being 31 years without them. And yeah, how I got better at music is practice. I am not, don't have lessons in anything. It was just kind of like rigid streams. And every time I would stream, I do this thing on Twitch and YouTube where I can't stop streaming until I have no more song requests. And it's $20 or $15 a song request, depending on the market. And I kind of try to listen to any song. And because of that, it's come to a point where I have all right relative pitch. So I can listen to something and I know where it's at diatonically. And if there's any borrowed chords or anything, I can kind of find them. But usually I'll just take a 4-bar measure from a song and I'll kind of do that. And then I'll build around that. Eventually what I want to do is I want to have scenes where I could do full songs with different parts of the chorus and stuff like that. But I'm too lazy, and I've been building my loop station, and that's on the docket, but we're not there yet. But yeah, so I did those streams for a long time, and I have been ever since I did got on band on Twitch. And I think those streams have really helped me to quarter in and focus on music. Because back in the day, I would play video games or I'd play No Pixel, and I'd do these things where I'd be playing a game for 8 hours a day, but then not doing what I really like doing, which is playing music. And I know that some people wish I was still doing stuff like that, but for me, it's become arduous to always be attached to a video game while I'm doing the thing that I love doing, which is, creating music itself. And I think to get better at music, you kind of have to learn how to interpret things in your own way. I spent a lot of time learning covers exactly how they were meant to be played. And I've almost come to a point where I don't even know how to do that anymore, and I like that. Because for me, it's I can always apply my own style. So people are watching my videos and my stuff for my own style that I instill into music, rather than watching a guy who does a perfect cover of someone else's song, which I don't like doing. I think that in a lot of ways when you present that, and I have respect for it, but for me, mainly I didn't want to ever do that because of copyright. So that's the other reason I got better at music, was for a long time on YouTube, and still, if I do enter sandstorm, even if I do a melody for something, they will copyright it. So for years I lived with Marcus Veltri, and Marcus does covers pretty true to form of the actual song. So they'll copyright every one of his videos for simple melody lines in his piano. And I remember sitting there talking to him, and I kind of brainstormed with him, we have to transform our music. We have to make our music transformative no matter what, because then, their automatic flagging won't come and find it. And then it makes it easier for us to make money off our videos. Because quintessentially at the end of the day, when I'm doing an Omegle video and I spend, 7 hours on that godforsaken website, I all of a sudden stop making money off that as well. And that sucked. That wasn't a fun phase of my life. So, you know, I'm like a cockroach. Like I have to figure out how to do music on YouTube, but also make it so that it's viable. And that's been a very hard task. It's not easy, and it's taken away from my ability to like be a pure expressional musician in a lot of ways, because I have to like bend my music to the culture of which I live in, and the platform that I'm at. But that's okay, because, you know, I don't have to tour, and I can stay at home with my dog on a Monday afternoon and sleep in. And I value things like that a lot. I can go spend time with my friends, and I can go to therapy today, and I can do all this stuff for myself, and then still have stuff that I can put out when I need to. And that's how I got better at music, man. It's my music streams, and just like paid practice is the greatest thing for me, because it's just incentive to like keep it going, you know? And thank you guys for that. I know I don't stream on this channel anymore. I might start to stream on here. I just don't know. I don't know the point. I don't know. I feel like streaming on my main channel is dope, but it also seems like it's killing my main channel. So, yeah. The first donation I ever received after I had this job and I was working on a SpongeBob beat was from Misfire Beatbox. And she gave me $300. And she said, "Hey, man, hope this helps." Because I was working as a trimmer in a weed dispensary in the middle of Compton, and I go there from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there is one month where the people who grew the weed messed up, and they grew it incorrectly. So the trim team, we got paid based on how much we trimmed. So we started getting like the crappiest weed we've ever seen. And I went from making like $25 an hour under the table to like $4 an hour after 44 hours in a week, or like 56 hours in a week. And it screwed me over royally. And I went home, and I kind of had like 10K, 12K on YouTube, and I just started streaming. And, you know, I had multiple people donate that day. I think Testicles did too, or Adrenaline Junkie, and Misfire. And it made up the amount of money that I lost in doing my job. And I just remember being like, is this a viable thing? You know, this is crazy. So I enjoyed learning, you know, and I've become obsessed with creating my setup to be functional, in a sense that I can do a very pretty house song into like the hardest shit you've ever heard in your life being performed by someone doing it live. And that's kind of my goal. Is my next step. I've been learning piano a lot more, and taking my time and taking lessons on it. And my next step is really just making myself the best musician I can be, and seeing where that goes. You know, videos are great, but I know that if I want to succeed, I have to start doing shows, and I have to start getting myself out there, and I need to start making content that's not Omegle content. I need to make content that's in person, because I do well in that situation. You know, I see people like Lairs and you know, Ari and this and that, and they're doing good, but like, I don't know, Lairs fakes 90% of his videos and just has people that know him come and listen to his music in Venice. It's weird. I'm like, I want to go and do authentic, real shit, even though it's going to be incredibly hard. And that's my goal. You know, I'm also not, you know, like a California, New York guy anymore. I want to go to like the middle of nowhere and meet like authentic Midwestern people, and just like, I don't know, like I have ideas that I want to do really badly. And I know that to get better at music, those ideas will come out way better. And that's just my goal, man. You know, I don't know when that locked in, but I think it was, actually I do. It was when No Pixel stopped giving me a whitelist. It really was. I was streaming No Pixel a lot, and they randomly took away night list for me, or priority list. So I couldn't get in. I had to wait hours to get in. And I was like, this is like, I spent a year, you know, on that server showing that like I perform everything live. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at role playing. Like I'm good at all the things that are needed for it. Why the fuck, you know, when I had to prove my RP, it was like I sent in videos of me singing and stuff like that. And they were just like, we need more. We need recent. And it's like, how am I going to get RP clips? It was like, it didn't make any sense. And I just remember like, you know, I'm so tired of attaching myself to these platforms like Twitch or YouTube or whatever that they fail. You know, these things fail. They stop caring about you. They let you go. They put you in a shadow algorithm. They don't give a fuck about you at all, you know. One of my closest friends, Billy Wilkins, it's like that guy, he was doing so well on TikTok. He had like one TikTok that got copyrighted and now his entire account is shadow banned. It's like you see it constantly where I realized the one thing that I had that no one could take away from me is my ability to create music. You know, I could get banned off Rust. I could get banned off fucking YouTube. I can get all this stuff. I can still make good music no matter what. And that's like something that weirdly enough No Pixel taught me was, you know, I was already like at this weird phase with No Pixel where it turned into like the IRL music scene where you just had a bunch of people going and pressing play like 3 times a day at shows. And then like, you know, I would get booked at first and then all of a sudden they would like just start booking themselves. And there was all this politics behind it. And I just didn't care. It was just like, I'm not going to go suck some dude's dick to like play a fucking video game show, you know? Like I've played like fucking lightning in a bottle and shit. Like I'm like an actual, I'm just like these people versus me. It's not to have my ego, but maybe I should have ego sometimes. Maybe I should express it, you know, to me, I'm like, I'm sitting here doing everything live. I like to do it like that. I think it's more important and I think it creates an actual like aura of, oh shit, is this real? You know, most of these people can't perform their music live. And to me, it was like, that should be RP enough, considering I RP'd around that all the time. And weirdly enough, losing that made me be like, I need to lock in on music. I need to get better. I need to stop playing fucking G minor, C minor, D minor, you know? I need to figure out more about diatonic scales and more about piano because I never took lessons for it. And I need to like improve. And a lot of the money you guys give me or that, you know, I get from my supporters, I literally throw right back into music. I throw it into therapy. I throw it into music lessons. I throw it into like just music in general. And, you know, I live in this quantified risk in my life where it's like at all times I'm taking huge risk, you know, and for some reason it's paid out to this point. So yeah, I don't know if that explains how I got better at music. I think it's just practice listening to songs that you're unfamiliar with and trying to interpret them, and knowing every song on the top 100 of Ultimate Guitar chord lists is pretty important too. So thank you guys for that. I'm going to try to keep uploading to this channel here and there. I'll see you later, baby boys.